everybody, it's Art Pearson. It's been a while since I've posted a video, so I wanted to update everybody. Um, I quit using Adobe Creative Suite 4.5, 5 years ago, and my decision was based off of the subscription model. I didn't want to do a subscription because I had been with Adobe for a number of years, and I moved all the way up from CS3 to CS4 to CS5, and then CS6 and then 6.5 before they went to the Creative Cloud. The Creative Cloud was a game changer for me because I didn't like how much I had spent over the years for my business buying software from Adobe, and I just didn't want a month to month because all of the CS3, CS4, CS5, I just bought them outright, and they at the time still cost $600-700 even with student discounts at certain times. And I was just over paying that much, that premium for it. And so we'll see right here what Adobe currently charges. So the Creative Cloud is $59.99 a month. And if you just want Photoshop, it's $22. And then it's across the board like that for all of the different modules. Illustrator, $22. Adobe Premiere, $22. InDesign, which is for desktop publishing, $22.99. And so I was over that. And so I'm going to show you the alternative that I went with, and it's Affinity. And now I have 4 years of using this software, and I'm quite happy with it. So it's Affinity, and they have the Designer, which is the same as using Adobe Illustrator or, yeah, Adobe Illustrator. And then they also have, for those people who like to use Photoshop, they have Affinity Photo, and they're currently on the Affinity Photo 2. You can still use Affinity Photo 1 and Photo 2. A year and a half ago, they came out with some new changes and updates and new features they wanted to add. But I'll show you the pricing on these so you can see why I made that decision. There's no subscription after trial. You buy it, and it's one flat rate. So if you one-time payment of $69.99, and that's if you just had the photo. Then if you were doing the Affinity Designer, it'll be the same, $69.99. You get updates. They update quite frequently. They send you emails, or even when you open the software, it'll say there's a new update. And when you get the updates, you don't have to pay again. Right here, you see they have this license that says universal license, and that one gives you get version 2 of Affinity Designer, Affinity Photo, and Affinity Publisher on all your systems. So you get all three on that one. You would get all three of the modules for $165. See, all platforms, all apps, no subscription. And that really works for a lot of people. If you're running a business, or if you do something like Etsy or e-commerce and you need to have design software, this helps with that. So keep this in mind. And then for those people like me who desktop publish, I have a promotional product business that is Pearson Promotional, and we do hard goods like mugs, pens, and other swag. But I also do a lot of print work. And even last year, in 2023, I self-published my second book, and so I did all of my design and layout in Affinity Publisher. And for those people who wonder about the brushes or the plugins, they have plugins available. You can go to Etsy, and there are people on Etsy who are selling Affinity brushes. Or you can go to Creative Market, and Creative Market has brushes and other filter packs as well. And I'll just go through some real quick. Let me see. Brushes, fonts, brushes. And then I would sort it. And I'm looking for Affinity. And see, boom, you have Affinity Photo, Affinity Designer. So you still can get the same plugins, brushes, and features that you have in Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator, or InDesign. And so I'm going to show you what it looks like inside of Affinity Photo. And they're quite similar. A matter of fact, they're almost a mirror. I mean, it's amazing how they didn't break any copyright infringement by how much. But they did this because people who are familiar with Adobe products want a smooth transition to using this software. And so you can still use your text and do. I'm using this image as I game a lot. And so this is an image from Multiverse. Way too much. Then you have the same drop downs for text and stuff like that. You can use so all of the same workflow that you do in Adobe, you would be able to do in Affinity. And so it's a very, very affordable option for those people who are looking for an alternative to paying a subscription base. Because at $22.99 a month, or even if you get the whole Creative Suite, $55 a month, in 3 months alone, you'd end up paying for this software instead of paying all year long. But if you're doing any video editing and things like that, like Adobe Premiere or Flash, then you might want to find, there's some alternate stuff for that too, but that's a different video. So you still have the effects panel the same way you have in Adobe, where you can do drop shadows, glows. Well, I'm not selecting anything, am I? Let me get out of here real quick. I'm gonna change the color real quick so I can see it. So for those people who design, it's the same. It would be identical to you using Adobe software. So I'm not going to hang around in here too long. I'm going to show you the Adobe Designer. So the same flexibility that you have with Adobe Illustrator, you get that. The only caveat I have is this software does not have a live trace feature that like Adobe does. And that's the only drawback I've seen in the 4 years that I've been using it. So if that's something that you're into, is doing live trace. But if you're familiar with the pen tool and how to use a pen tool, they have all those options. And you even have transform tools. And so you can manipulate and stretch and transform and do all the normal stuff that you normally do in Adobe. But now you're in Affinity. And Affinity's been around, and I couldn't believe that, for almost 15 years, 15 to 20 years. So they're not a new company. They're just a quiet competitor, but they're doing a very good job. And they have a lot of software, a lot of plugins, tutorials on their website. Oh, Franken Studio. This is another one of the plugin partners. They make a lot of brushes that I use. This is his store. He's merchant. He's got some freebies. He's got a shop. And you can find some brushes here that you'll use. And he specifically makes Affinity brushes. So same beautiful brushes and styling. You can also find gradients and things like that. But remember, once again, if you're going to do page design, page layout, designing brochures, postcards, or any print work, you'd want to use Affinity Publisher. If you're going to be doing Photoshop-like or any photo editing or modification, then you want to use Affinity Photo. If you're going to do any vector artwork or creation, then you want to use Affinity Designer. This is Art Pearson with Pearson Promotional. Sorry it's been so long, everybody. I hope this helps you find a inexpensive and very, very fluent alternative to Adobe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And as always, like and subscribe, and we thank you for joining us. Have a great day.